So if you would have asked me this question, man, in 2009, 2010, when I graduated, my answer would have been completely different. I just want to say that, like, historically, Black colleges and universities are necessary, right? They are necessary.
Yes.
And the reason they are necessary is because ultimately, at the end of the day, they are the gateway and they provide a framework they are the gateway between historical context and future continuity around what's possible. I will tell you, G, man, coming from Durham, like, I knew that, like, some of my mentors in Durham went to Morehouse, but going to a school, the incoming freshman class is 773. I remember that number. African American men. Everyone had a 4.0 GPA or higher. Everyone was valedictorian or SJ class president. On top of that, they came from, man, I remember in my induction class, when we got inducted to Morehouse, there was this cat who was fourth generation Morehouse man. That means his daddy's daddy, and his daddy's daddy's daddy, his great grandfather. And I'm sitting there in awe. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm the first. I knew it was maybe two generations, the mama, the daddy, and then the grandparents. The grandparents went. Like, that was unheard. And then I saw the amount of exposure and Black wealth. And I just realized that, like, and this is where I was supposed to be. But I do think that there's a disparity between the well-known HBCUs, Howard, Spelman, Morehouse, Fisk, right? FAMU, maybe. Hampton for sure, right? And then everything else, right? Like, they don't exist. And that's not, or they don't get the exposure that's necessary. And I think we are doing ourselves a disservice, because when you think about it from a propensity standpoint, everybody ain't gonna get accepted to those schools. So who's really doing a lot of the work, right? In terms of producing, just in numbers. Now, I could argue some other things but in terms of just producing Black graduates via the HBCU pipeline, it's the other schools that aren't getting the attention. And I think we have to do a better job. I was so indoctrinated on this kind of Morehouse mystique, where it was all about Morehouse, Spelman when I graduated. The older I got, man, if you just come through, if you're an African American who has a college degree, you deserve to be celebrated. And if you've done that through all of the hardships that comes through a HBCU, because although Morehouse and Spelman and Howard are on the forefront or on the Mount Rushmore of HBCUs, there are infrastructure challenges at HBCUs that I can almost guarantee, G, you did not go through at a PWI. I could 100%. Like, you probably didn't have Wi-Fi issues.
I went to Winston-Salem State.
I thought you were to UNCG.
I got it. I can get into UNCG. I didn't have AC my freshman year.
Well, Winston-Salem State is getting a lot of exposure. You guys are producing talented journalists.
Winston-Salem State has definitely done quite a bit, especially since I've graduated. Campus has grown, but when you talk about lack of institutional support, lack of certain qualities, infrastructure wise, like, no, of course that believe me,
bad, bro.
state funded Black school at that.
I see how I made that connection. My bad.
You being silly.
I'm not being silly.
I spent a lot of time at UNCG. I'll say that much, but I did not graduate from there. That's a fact.
I want to dive into that though. Like, are you offended, or are you like why do you bring up that? Like, do you think that, like, other HBCUs aren't getting enough attention? Or what?
I think that given that you've gone to one of the flagship HBCUs like Morehouse, my experience at a HBCU is from the perspective of Winston-Salem State, state-funded institution, Morehouse College, privately funded. But when I compare even like the experience at Winston-Salem State compared to UNCG and their resources, or compared to ECU or Wilmington, I'm talking about even just locally at the state level, there's a difference. When you can tell that Winston-Salem State, especially at the time, didn't have the same sort of resources in terms of what the campus offered institutionally. When I look at that in the pipeline of HBCUs, I think, especially given this post-George Floyd era where there's been this huge push to market to HBCUs and do all these different things.
Now how he get into it?
Because that was the thing that really, like, COVID, George Floyd, corporate America start saying Black Lives Matter. What can we do to help Black people? Before then, corporate America was not really making those sort of statements, in my estimation.
You touched a sour spot for me right now, man, where we shift the conversation away from HBCUs and more towards corporate America, and I think we probably want to phase that out.
No, we going to. But let me finish my thought though.